G'day folks, and welcome to Robbie's River Roundup for Friday the 13th of March 2015, proudly brought to you by Adventure Camping and Fishing at 14 Rowan Street, Wangaratta. Friday the 13th, I wish I'd put some more thought into that. I could have dressed up as something scary. I suppose I'm already scary enough. Oh, got the fangs. Just letting you know the duck opening is just around the corner. The duck season opens on the 21st of March here in Victoria. And at Adventure Camping and Fishing at the moment they've got decoys on special for $10 each for the little plastic ducks, and you put them on the water and the real ducks come down and think that they're mates and they go and sit next to them, then you spook them off the water and you shoot the real ones and you don't shoot the decoys. But at the moment they're $10 each, and if you buy 6 of them, 6 decoys, you get a free duck caller. So you can hide in the trees just back from your decoy and blow the duck caller and make it not only look like a real duck but sound like one too. I'm up here today at Lake Hume. I've actually come up here to do a little bit of metal detecting. Lake Hume, or Hume Weir, is an enormous body of water. It's 3 million megalitres. At the moment, it's down to 30% of capacity, or if you're one of these really negative-minded people that likes to whinge and piss and moan all the time, you could say it's not 30% full, it's 60% empty. Well, with 70% empty, but have a look. It's around about 30%. Even at 30% of capacity, this lake has got close to 1 million megalitres of water in it. There's a lot of water being poured out of it at the moment and it's dropping quite quickly. But I'm going to have a bit of a flick around and see if I can get a redfin. And my wife's got a metal detector and we're going to go and see if we can find some buried treasure. I've got some bad news. Well, it's not so much bad news, it's expected news. It's dry. It's dry. We are in desperate need of rain. Each week I've been saying that the creeks are really low. Well, I've done a bit of touring this week. I've been around the countryside. I've been fishing over at Lake Eildon and I've took notice of all the creeks and stuff, and things are really bad. In the trout streams things are really bad, and a lot of the streams are drying up. These creeks never used to dry up like this. Great example, the 15 Mile Creek, which is up at Myree. The 15 Mile Creek used to flow all the way down from up at Myree, through Greta, down through Wangaratta and into the Ovens River, down at Walnut Grove, downstream from Wangaratta. And it used to flow all year round when I was a kid. My father even caught trout in the 15 Mile Creek in Wangaratta years ago. When I was a kid it started drying up in the lower reaches, and by the time I was a sort of a teenager or early 20s, it'd dry up around Wang once every few years. Now it dries up around Wang every year, regardless, usually before Christmas. It's like the section where it dries up is getting further and further back, and right now it's dried up right up through Greta and everything, and it's worrying me that even right up in the trout section up in the mountains it's really tiny flow. It's almost dripping from hole to hole. And the nearby middle creek that runs into it is bone dry. The Hollands Creek over at Tadong, you'd fit it through a pipe a centimetre round. It's just hardly even moving, these creeks. This is the worst time of the year. This is the time of year that they're lowest, and at the moment they're in real trouble and we need some rain, and the forecast is for no rain. That's sad. On the bright side, as long as they're flowing, even if they're just dripping, there'll still be water in the holes and the trout will seek refuge in those holes. I went to a small stream yesterday on the way back from Eildon, the real lower reaches of a creek, and I thought it's got to be a redfin down here. It's too far down to have any trout or anything. I've got this nice hole. Because it was flowing, this particular creek, and it wasn't flowing well, but because it was flowing, the water was still reasonably clear. So I put a little soft plastic on, I cast into this deep hole around the snags hoping a redfin had come out. Lo and behold, a trout about that long came out. It would have been probably, I'll move back a bit, would have been probably close to 2 pound. It just came out from under these snags, it just followed my lure but didn't take it. I felt the water, and the water was quite cool. It's very dry. But the average temperatures have really plummeted over the last few weeks. Our nighttime temperatures in Wangaratta at the moment are around 10 degrees, and that's been reflected by the cool temperatures in the streams. A few weeks ago, not only did they have low water to contend with, but they also had very warm water. But now that water is quite a cool, refreshing sort of a temperature. So pretty much if the streams don't dry up, the trout that are in the holes will survive, and they'll come back to life when we get some rain. But rain, we really need rain. The lower reaches of all the rivers have really had no change since last week. The Murray River up here at Albury is absolutely raging at the moment. That's because they're letting so much water out. I was up at Lake Eildon during the week and it's the same, 8,000 megalitres a day going down the Goulburn River. Not really natural. Murray could probably think it looks like March, but it feels like September. But the lower reaches of all the rivers are really fishable at the moment. The natural flowing rivers are very low, but they're still quite fishable. But the streams are in a lot of trouble if we don't get some rain soon. I said it last week, and each week I say it gets a little bit worse. Here's hoping. There's nothing in the forecast, so we can only hope. Anyway, I'm going to pan the ground here with my wife's metal detector and my wife, who's just over there. Say hello.
Hi.
Don't know whether you heard of it, you probably can't see her. I might go and have a fish first. I've got a fair old hike ahead of me just to get to the water. Even though it's 70% empty, the water's still way over there. Have a great week and I'll see you next week.